is in. Oh, no.
Tony, I'm sorry. I think you're jumping in.
God, don't do this to me. Oh. Don't do this to me, Brian. Don't do this to me, man. Come on,
Matt, before you God, I'm a Packers fan.
No,
Screw the Lions.
This is it. This is the question is.
This is shocking. This is shocking.
Oh, thank God.
Listen.
Catch radius of a power forward like T. Higgins could be.
Oh, talking about receivers.
The capability of Cole Kmet from Notre Dame.
Tight end.
Oh, no.
Tight end, yes, tight end. Pull Lions.
Okay.
Boys ready?
For Green Bay, so find out.
Quarter Splat on the biggest moment of our show.
They moved up
History.
in a trade here.
This is crazy.
Miami will only have to.
My heart is racing. Here we go. Goodell's hype on the crowd. Oh God.
The Miami Dolphins have traded the 26th pick to the Green Bay Packers. With the 26th pick of the 2020 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love.
Oh, God. For those who may not know what that last clip was, on the draft live show, I made a bet with Billy saying Jordan Love would not go in the first round, and if he did, I would have to jump in the lake. And I lost, so that was what that video was. So I hope all of you enjoyed. I hope all of you enjoyed that video of my humiliation. Hello, and welcome to the 12th episode of Splat in the Honolulu Blues. I am your host, Antonio Pop, and today we're going to be discussing the Lions draft picks and how we feel about the team and how they drafted overall. And as always, I am joined by my two co-hosts, Billy Gruznick and Matt Pelage. How you doing today, boys?
Pop, I am doing great. I'm excited for another football show. We got a great show ahead, and you're going to notice something. Billy has on a stupid-looking hat.
Yeah, dude, you got to get rid of that hat, man. Come on.
For once, I am – like, I always represent my team, always Lions. Detroit Lions, always.
Listen,
but I proudly represent this team because for once – okay, I woke up Friday morning, and, you know, I'm not used to the feeling that my team didn't F this up. Like, I remember after almost every single regular season game, I'd wake up and be like, oh, my God, it's Monday morning, and we sucked horribly. I remember waking up after free agency and being like, meh, and previous free agencies being like, wow, that was terrible. But this draft, we actually did good. Like, it's weird. And you know what? There were some questionable picks. We'll dive into that a little more. But, I mean, I'm proud to represent the white today. Also, it looks a lot different on me now that I got my hair cut. So, kind of trying out a new look, I guess.
Yeah, and we'll get
Really?
Yeah, we'll get into that and more in just a few minutes. But right now, I just wanted to bring to the attention former cornerbacks coach and defensive coordinator from 1960 to 1962, Don Shula, died today at the age of 90 years old. He is one of the winningest coaches in NFL history. He is famous. He has won many NFL championships and Super Bowl rings. He is also famous for his Miami Dolphins team, who went 17-0. Any thoughts on Don Shula, Matt or Billy?
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, part of it's sad because you see a legend go, but I mean, you got to look at what he did in his life. He was a great guy off the field. You know, I talked to my dad about him, and my dad was, you know, alive when he was coaching, and he said, you know, he always, as a fan, even of a different team, he always had great respect for Don Shula. He was a very good gentleman, and he always won with class. None of that, but you look, you know, at his on the field performance, one of the greatest coaches ever. He couldn't win another Super Bowl later in his career, but you know, back in the prime of the Dolphins, there was nobody better than Don Shula. I'd probably put him number 2 next to Belichick and greatest football coaches of all time. Incredible guy, incredible coach. It's a shame to see him go, but guys, he lived to 90. You know, lived a great life, and you know, this is one of those things where you should mourn his death, but we should more so be celebrating the life he had and the impact he truly had on football. Really a great story.
Indeed. Now, skipping a level and going back to the college level, this is an interesting story that happened this week. Michigan football players were reported working out on Ohio State's practice field, and the Buckeye fans and players were not happy, posting threats like "get off our field," and then Michigan players responded, "make us." And from a Michigan fan's point of view, I'm a diehard Michigan fan. Go Blue all my life, even though I'm going to Hope. I view this as why? Why would you make a big deal of two guys just practicing on your practice field? It's not like they're going into the stadium. They're outside the stadium on a practice field. They're trying to practice during this coronavirus pandemic. Give them a break. Your guys' thoughts?
Well, Pop, the big aspect of this is that the schools are rivals, and the whole reason why they have to go into Ohio State and practice is because they're not allowed to do it on their own field. So why they would go to this school's practice field and risk their people, whoever's on their practice field, it's kind of ignorant, but a lot of U of M fans are. So, Splat, go ahead.
Here's what I think.
Ooh.
Here's what I think, man. So if the rivalry was if the competition between Ohio State and Michigan was actually close and Michigan could actually beat Ohio State for once, I would agree with you that they shouldn't have been doing this and it was wrong. But Michigan football is not where it used to be, and Ohio State is controlling us like ventriloquist style, and they're just making us eat dirt every single time we play them. They're destroying us. They blow us out. That's why I don't see a problem with this, because there's no competition between the teams when they match up. That's what I think. Matt, what about you?
Pop, another thing to wonder about is, quarantine happens, all the students have to go home. Were those students from Ohio? Did they live near Ohio State?
Yes, they did.
Okay,
they did.
Now this is where I'm in the favor, because if they just drove down to Ohio State to work out on their field, why?
Yeah.
But if that's the local field right by, then they're just trying to get a workout in. And if the high schools were all shut down and you can get into the college football stadiums. I mean, I've walked by and walked into Michigan State and Notre Dame football stadiums, even though they were way after games. Like, you can just sometimes walk right into those stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if that's the only workout place available on a field, I guess that'd be I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I think the blame's 50-50. They really should have tried to find another field, maybe like a high school field or something.
Yeah.
But if that was the only available spot, then I think both sides are overreacting. I think Ohio State's overreacting a little bit, but I thought working out on on Ohio State's field might be a little unnecessary. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the Michigan side on this one. Like, really, it's not that big of a deal. They're going to smush them anyway. Just chill out.
Exactly. That's my thinking. So let's transition into the NFL draft.
Yes.
In your opinion, what team had the best draft night?
I'm going to let Billy go first on this one. I'm interested to hear his opinion.
When I do this, I'm just going to look at round one because that is the most impactful round. And I have to be looking in between Miami just because of the number of picks that they had. I mean, they had so many guys that they picked out of there, and they had good picks coming out of those positions that they're going to have a great team, I think, this year. So, yeah, I think I'd have to go with Miami. Another one that I really liked was Minnesota and how they traded, and they took good value out of their picks. So those are my two favorites out of that one.
Pains me to say it, Billy, but I agree with you on Minnesota. But my number one was Dallas. Dallas had a very good draft. I mean, they come in, they lose Randall Cobb, and Gallup's a decent receiver, but he's not exactly a superstar. You put CeeDee Lamb falls to you at 17. Jerry Jones almost lost a heartbeat when CeeDee Lamb fell to them. I mean, this offense just got so much better with CeeDee. I mean, that is exactly the kind of playmaker that's going to take that offense to the next level. And not a huge fan of this guy personally, but I think he could be very good. Trevon Diggs out of Alabama, cornerback, addressing another need. Very good pick. They got Gallimore out of Oklahoma, another defensive tackle, just in case Poe or McCoy doesn't work out. They got the center. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. Out of Wisconsin. They got edge rusher out of Utah. that he's gonna have a big role this year. I mean, they got guys that they need. They didn't have a ton of picks, but they had who they need. And I like that. I like that draft a lot.
You
What about
see,
you, Pop?
I agree with you on the Vikings, but my number one has to be the Baltimore Ravens. This team came in with few holes, holes in their squad. They got Lamar Jackson and they got solid defense, but they picked up some guys they needed. They needed J.K. Dobbins. They needed some interior linemen to replace the irreplaceable Marshall Yanda. And they picked up 2 interior slot receivers, which were needed. But I just feel like the team that came out of the draft looking the best into the next season has to be the Ravens, because they had so few little holes and they just improved so much better, which makes them even scarier for the AFC North division. I believe they're gonna be a Super Bowl team this year.
I agree with you. And I'm looking at their draft, and I talked about a couple guys. I don't think I mentioned it on the draft show, but I definitely mentioned it before the draft show. 2 of my big steals. I thought it'd be a steal that you got these guys in the 4th or 5th round. In the 6th round, they got James Prochet, wide receiver out of SMU. This guy is really good, and they got Duvernay too. That was a very nice pick.
Yeah.
But they've got receivers at option, because I know he's from Notre Dame, and I do like my Irish, but I mean, Boykin, I don't know if he's the answer at that position, but Duvernay and Proche are very good. And then I mentioned my number one guy, Geno Stone, safety out of Iowa. This guy looked like a straight-up baller, and they got him in the 7th round. I was literally yelling at the TV for the Lions to take him, and they didn't do it. That's why they're not getting a flat A from me, but we'll get into that later. But, I mean, you look at some of these steals, it's ridiculous. But they got Bredesen in the 4th. I mean, oh my gosh. Matabuki in the 3rd. I mean, Dobbins, honestly, I mean, they've got Ingram, so I wasn't.
Well, they need a speed back. Mark Ingram's more of a power guy. They need a little, to run that little option a little more.
I think it adds another, and I agree with you. I think it adds another, it adds another element to their offense. But I think what they did in the latter rounds is what put them very high. They're probably number 2, along with the Vikings. But that's another really good pick.
Yeah.
And, I was hoping the Vikings lost so much in the offseason. I just wanted them to screw the draft up so bad. Just please mess up. And they hit a home run. I was like,
they did. Now, speaking of hitting home runs, who do you think, what team grounded out into a double play? Which team the entire NFL had the worst draft? Billy, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and exclude my Steelers on this one because we, I don't know, didn't have a first-round freaking pick, but, the Saints. Oh, my God. That was
That, you know what, Billy? I looking back, I mean, you watch the Steelers pretty good, like a good decent amount, right? Or no? So would you, looking back, you guys traded for Fitzpatrick and he comes out, becomes a Pro Bowler. Are you glad they made that trade? Really?
No. There was a lot of talent, and where they would have been picking, they had a lot of talent available on the draft if they were in this draft. So
yeah,
I don't think it paid off, but that's just my opinion.
Now, I think the team that, like, I have no idea what the GM was thinking, and I still don't, and it got me punished for it, has to be the Packers. The Packers, that pickup in Jordan Love, what were they doing? They have an all-pro quarterback in Aaron Rodgers.
How old is he?
He's getting up there in age, but here's the problem, Billy. He has no wide receivers to throw to.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up no wide receivers in that draft. Aaron Rodgers has only thrown one touchdown pass to a first-round pick and that was a tight end. See, there's a problem when you say, oh, it's the quarterback's the problem, not the wide receivers. If you have no weapons, you can't really do anything, and yet Aaron Rodgers was a Pro Bowler last year. I mean, you look at I don't understand Green Bay, and maybe Jordan Love's next Tom Brady. Maybe I don't see that. But I don't see why you would tell your all-pro quarterback to go pound sand. We're picking up your replacement and giving you no weapons this year. Have fun on the field, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Like, I don't understand that. You have a really good quarterback, and you tell him, yeah. Matt, what do you think? Because I'm very upset about that.
I'm with you on that one. Rodgers 4 years left on that massive contract he's got. I don't think that's the move. I really don't. And you're gonna look, Jordan Love. I wasn't the biggest fan of him coming in. I mean, if you're gonna make that pick, you've got to be sure this guy is the next, top tier QB in the league. Tom Brady, Patrick in his prime, Patrick Mahomes level player. I mean, you got to be 100% sure. But he's got 4 years left on his contract. I mean, that's and if you try to trade him or cut him, you're taking a huge dead cap hit. I don't like the move, but I think what they did the next 2 rounds was even worse. I mean, you get AJ Dillon, who's not, you're taking that guy way too early in the second round. None of that. You already have 2 running backs. They drafted a 3rd-string running back in the second round.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even supposed to go in the second round. And then in the 3rd round, they take a backup tight end. Like, what in the wide world was that first 3 rounds? I mean,
dude,
they weren't too bad in the end of the draft. They had some stranger picks in the end too. But I mean, wow. This is one of the worst drafts I can remember.
Here's the thing. So they have a terrible draft, but somehow in 2 years they'll beat us, and in 4 years they'll beat us. The Packers. Well, yeah, but I mean, like I'm saying, like down the road, no matter what, we always get screwed up by the Packers.
Yeah.
It just the way the Lions are. Now, speaking of the Lions, let's get right into their draft. Matt, you want to take this one over?
Oh, yes, I do. Now, I'm going to – you know what? I'll run this segment. So, first pick, we have got cornerback Jeffrey Okudah out of Ohio State. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are saying, we got to trade back. We got to trade back. We got to trade back. All right? Okudah's our guy. We already traded Slay. I'm not viewing this from a point – because here's the thing. When you look at you trade Slay, you bring in Okudah, it's like you got rid of something and you just replaced it. And you got a lot of holes. But Slay needed to go with, because of Patricia's antics. So let's look at this from, not a free agency, Slay trade perspective. Let's look at this from what our needs were with that team going into the draft. Now, it was rumored that Jacksonville had offered us the 9th pick and the 20th pick to trade up, and they took Henderson. So they were trying to get Okudah, right? And people were saying, trade back, okay? What would have happened if we would have traded with Miami down to the 5th pick? You know what Jacksonville does? They give the same offer to New York. New York takes it. We don't get Okudah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okudah's our prospect. If they zoned in on him, he was their guy. So you would have lost your prospect. None of that. If you're number 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
If let's say you take that deal from Jacksonville, number 9, Simmons goes at 8. Now you have no prospects that you could take. You know what I mean? I think staying there, if Okudah was their man, I think staying there was the right move. I'd be a little high on that. But the next few picks after that, I was very high on. I'm gonna start Billy onto those ones. What do you think about Swift, Billy? DeAndre Swift.
Real quick, let's get back to Okudah and what
All right. All right.
For those of you who didn't watch the actual live draft show, we went into this a little bit, but I think I thought that the Jacksonville trade would have been a good one, and that did blow up a little bit in my face because those guys did go by 8. So, not taking that trade was a good move by.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is at 3, Okudah is not the right move. I think that obviously, me, I want Tua, but that's not going to happen.
Okay. Besides Tua, because
Simmons.
You pick Simmons.
Plays so many positions. He's so talented. He can do literally anything. His ceiling is way higher than Okudah's.
Okay.
He's going to be a better player. Sure. We don't know yet it's all about how the teams incorporate him into the scheme. Are they going to make him a safety? Are they going to make him a linebacker? What are they going to do with him? But if they play it right, I think Simmons is going to be an insane player, and I really think that Bob Quinn and Martha and old Mr. Patricia over there missed out on a real opportunity.
I could see that, definitely. So let's talk about our second round draft pick, DeAndre Swift out of Georgia, running back. I thought this was a great pickup. He is the top back in this draft. I think we needed a good running back. I thought our running backs now were okay, but adding DeAndre Swift to the mix just brings our running game to a whole nother level. I feel like, and with the way Patricia is trying to structure the offense and working with his offensive coordinator to kind of make a pound the football, then throw it when we need to, I feel like this is a really good pickup because Swift showed many times that he can move inside the hole and then bounce it outside, and just he's so creative with the way he hits holes and then he spurts to the outside and gets the first down. I think this is a very solid pickup. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Swift a lot. I like Carrion a lot. And he didn't play as well as he did his rookie year last year, but that was because of a worse offensive line, I think. But I mean, Swift is just what he can add to this offense.
Yeah.
I mean, this offense is going to be so much better because of him. And like Carrion and Swift, I mean, that duo is just going to be crazy. And not only that, but you're taking carries away from Carrion. But that's going to take pressure off of his knees. That's going to, help him not have those injuries. And you're going to have both those guys for the whole season. I mean, I thought this was a great pick. I thought, it added that oomph to the offense that was necessary. When Cesar Ruiz got taken, Cesar Ruiz was my number one guy for round 2. I thought we could really use him.
See, I would have picked him up in round 3. That would have been.
Who's that?
Cesar Ruiz. I thought he was
I'm not falling that far.
I thought he would have fallen.
Yeah, Saints. I wasn't in love with them. They already got Warford. I don't know. I didn't love that pick.
Here's the thing, though. So say the Swift has a breakout year, almost like a Saquon Barkley. Who do you now? And say Carrion has a similar year. You have 2 good running backs. Who do you sign? Who has the higher ceiling? Carrion Johnson or DeAndre Swift?
Swift.
Yeah, Swift. I'm with Billy.
I'm with you guys too. Carrion. He started his career here. I think it's time. If DeAndre Swift isn't a dud, which we don't know yet, which I'm guessing he won't be, but I agree. I think we should sign DeAndre Swift moving forward and let Carrion kind of go, or maybe trade him for some assets.
I don't think they're both gonna ask for a lot. I really don't. I think this is gonna.
Well, I mean,
I feel like one will get paid a good amount, but like, I feel like if Swift is the main back of this offense, which he probably will be, they wouldn't have taken him in the second round if he wasn't going to be the premier back. But I think that Swift could get paid a good amount, but they won't pay Carrion as much. But they'll give him enough to keep him in town. I think that running back duo is going to be core of this offense. I think we're looking at another Kamara Ingram, if not better.
I was just about to say that. I think that it's going to be
I mean, this is going to be I like it a lot. So, you're going to have good weapons. The one thing you're going to need to protect those weapons and to allow those weapons to play the best they can is going to be an offensive line. So we're going to talk about – actually, no. Before we get into the line, let's talk about – well, actually, this guy's a lineman too. Julian Okwara, edge rusher out of Notre Dame, 3rd-round pick. I want to get your guys' thoughts. What do you think, Billy?
We were on the FaceTime when they were making this pick, and the linebacker's name is slipping me right now. I can't remember who it was, but
Zach Bond. That's what you're talking.
There you go. Yeah, so he was still on the board, and that was really my favorite pick. But that's just because if anyone who's watched the other episodes, you know how big of a linebacker guy I am. I think that linebackers make your defense. So I was a little disappointed that they didn't take him, but it's a good pick. We need help on the defensive line, so I'm going to say that was not a horrible pick.
I would have to agree with Billy. I don't see it as a horrible pick, but with defensive linemen, it's how quickly can they develop to help our defense now. You see, the reason why Chase Young is such a dynamic player and the reason why he got picked 2nd overall is because he can he's ready for the NFL. He's ready to start in the NFL. Thing is this guy ready to start? I don't think so. And that's a problem. If Martha says win now, we need a player who can start now and make a big difference now.
Yeah, you know what? I like that take a lot because, Aquara's raw. And, before I, got accepted to Michigan State and got involved in that culture, I was a diehard Notre Dame fan growing up. So I not only watched Julian, but I also watched Romeo. I can tell you this. Julian is way better than Romeo. His ceiling is way higher. But Julian just sometimes makes the stupidest mistakes in big situations. And, I feel like,
And
he's very raw.
That right there, that has plagued our Lions defense for forever. Going back to even the Sue thing, when Sue stepped on Aaron Rodgers and cost us pretty much the game. Like, we need guys who have a head on their shoulders and able to make big plays in big moments.
I do like you see the potential though. I mean, this guy, if you can just get him some even better coaching, I'm telling you guys, this guy could be a dominant pass rusher. This guy could put up over 10 plus sacks a year.
Matt, I agree. I agree. But the problem is Martha set a goal, win now, or you're gone. The problem is if we don't win now, he's not going to have good coaches next year. We might cut him. So
we're not going to cut a third-round pick, let alone a guy who was a steal in the third round. This guy can fit almost every scheme. I mean, maybe okay. And the thing is, if we don't rush like 3 guys every play, then maybe we'd get to the quarterback a little bit more. This guy's a tough matchup for tackles. I mean, he's very raw, but he can even drop back into coverage. This guy, high ceiling. I like him a little more than you guys do. There is, as I said, there is that element. He is a little raw, but I think. And he could, who knows? He could blow up next year, but I think year 2, year 3, I think this could be a very good pick. But it is going to be kind of cool to see the Aquaras. You see one Aquara go in, and then you see the other one. You see one Aquara go out, you see the other one go in, and then back and forth. That'll be kind of cool to see.
And you see, here's the thing, though. Looking at last thing about this, about the defensive tackle. Or defensive end, he plays upright too much. He's easily taken out of the run game, and we need, like Billy said, linebackers or someone to stop the run, and we struggled with that last year. So you're saying that this guy will develop, that's the thing I don't see happening because he got bullied at the point of attack when Notre Dame played Michigan, and he plays too upright and is easily taken off the ball. And that's something, it's hard to teach to get low in the run game. It's really hard to see him playing out as a starter and a day-to-day guy like Ziggy Ansah, for instance. But let's move into the next pick. Another third-round pick, Johannes Jackson, Ohio State, guard. I like this pick. We needed a offensive guard. I felt like he at the right value. I feel like we got him at a good time. He's 306, 6'3". He's got a 33.5-inch arm span. And his hands are 10.5 inches. I mean, this guy's big. He's a big boy. He had 28 reps on the bench press. He's strong, and he can hold his best with some of the top defensive tackles in the NCAA. I'm so excited to see this kid what he can do at the next level, especially for the Lions. I feel like we picked up a really good asset.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought Jackson was a really good pick. I thought, that was one of the slay picks we got, and I think we got another big asset. I mean, you lose Glasgow to Denver, he got paid 4 years, $44 million. And so, you're able to put a guy in third round, Jackson. He's very developed. He's a day 1 starter, very good, exceptional in the pass blocking game. Also can run block. I like the pick a lot. And I mean, I was a big fan of it. And I think you're filling in a big hole. And also, Joe Dahl is not a starting guard in the NFL. I don't know why our team thinks he is, but apparently they do. Well, maybe not with the next pick we took. And this guy out of Kentucky, I love. And we're going to talk about him after Billy gives us his opinion on Jonah Jackson.
So Yeah, this is probably my favorite pick for us in this draft. I think that we really need to address that position. As you said, Dahl sucks. I don't know why they were convinced last year that he was a guard, and through this offseason that he could be. What they saw just blows my mind. But yeah, this was a good pick.
I'm with you. So, getting back to the guy who I'm pretty sure is the replacement for Dahl. I think they're going to put Jax on the right side, but Logan Stenberg. And this guy, honestly, like I like Jackson a lot. Stenberg, honestly, I think he's got the higher ceiling. I absolutely do. Dude, look
Really?
at the tape. All right. This guy gives up, one sack, I think, at Kentucky, right?
I mean,
In the SEC.
Kentucky is not a premier program.
Dude, it's in the SEC. They're going up against the best defensive tackles in the country. Not only that, dude, have you seen the run blocking tape? Have you seen it? It is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I've seen it.
He is bullying guys. He could turn out to be a bust, but if he was like he was in college, boys, we got another steal.
You see, I look at this guy. He has short arms. He has a below average build with 317 and he's 6'6". That can be improved on. The weight can be improved on, but the arm length is what kills me. You need a wide arm length, especially playing interior guard, because you could have guys stunting at you. You could have linebackers scraping. You need to have a big arm length, and he could struggle in pass protection, especially if they bring zone blitzes. And as much as I want him to do fantastic, like Matt's hoping, I just don't see him playing out as a long-term solution for our right guard problems. I don't see him playing out. Billy, what do you think? Since you look like you're depressed over there.
I hate this pick. I hate
Thank
it so
you.
much. I hate it with a burning passion. I don't like. I understand the Jonah Jackson pick. Why don't you just pop him over on the right side and let Wiggins take the left side? I mean, sure, Wiggins isn't great, but he's good enough.
Oh
I mean, there's
no.
so many other
Oh
positions.
no.
Yeah.
Wiggins.
He's
Wiggins.
good. At that spot, all you need to do is fill the gap. Just get wide and fill the gap. And I totally disagree with this pick, but I know Splat.
Stenberg's going to be on the left side, by the way. I'm pretty sure Jackson's on the right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jackson's on the right. So Stenberg would be in that. I think it's going to be that'll be like a camp competition, but I think Stenberg will win because Wiggins and Dahl are brutal, dude.
Wiggins isn't that bad. He's not that bad. He's not great. Don't get me. He's not good.
I'd rather have Joe
Yeah.
Dahl than Kenny Wiggins all day. Dude, do you watch Kenny Wiggins? What happens when he goes in?
You watch Joe Dahl?
Both of them are very bad.
I mean, you look at the entire offensive line, it's just trash on trash.
Yeah.
But speaking of our next pickup, Jason Huntley, running back out of New Mexico State. At first, I'm like, what are we doing? But now looking back on it, I kind of understand. We want him to be more of a special teams guru and less of a running back, which I understand, because we got, Carry On and Swift. But this pick, it's interesting that we could have gotten another lineman or someone else to fill that position. I don't think using this pick for a special teams guy is the right move. Billy, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't like this pick very much. He's not going to contribute very much to the running game. We've got, we just took Swift. We got Carry On.
Yeah.
I'm sure after what we saw last year from Bo Scarborough, he's going to fill a bigger role in the team this year. So, yeah, 2 in a row that I wasn't very happy with.
Matt, you look like you're going to punch Billy. What do you think about it?
I'm not. I will once I see him in person, but not now. But it's okay. I don't know. I'm with you guys. I don't love it. I think it's a little early to take a special teams guy. I'm just happy we didn't take a long snapper with this pick. It's okay. I mean, you look at the film. The guy is incredibly explosive. Can return the ball really well, especially on kickoffs. Pair with him with Agnew. I like that a lot. but it's very early to spend a pick on this guy. And maybe I think at the most I see him as a J.D. McKissick role for the offense.
Yeah.
At the very most. And he only got a lot of playing time because people were getting injured. So I don't know. It's okay. Not great.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at what we have now. I just really I think we could have picked up a better player. But going on to the next guy, Joe Pensy. I think this guy was a really good pickup. He is a nose guard, a backup defensive tackle, starting nose guard for Utah. He is 6'1", 318 pounds. This guy stops the run like no one I've ever seen. And especially when we picked him up where we did, I feel like this is a very good pickup. I feel like he can make a big difference in that Lions defense, especially when we go the three-man rush. And if they do a draw play, I feel like he can do a really good job of just tearing up that center and getting to the ball carrier. Matt, what do you think?
I think you forgot about Quintez Cephas, but we'll talk about him after. So Pensini, I like the pick. It feels a need. I'm not as high on him as you are. I think, as I said, it's a good pick. It filled a need, but I don't think this guy's a superstar. I think he's
no. I'm not saying he's a superstar. I'm saying
he's a decent backup. I think. I mean,
he has a role. I'm saying he has a role, and he's going to do it really well. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Ndamukong Suh.
He's decent against the run. Sometimes, I was watching some film on him. Sometimes when he goes up against better linemen, he gets beat off the ball pretty bad. But you fill the role.
Here's what I'm looking at.
I like him. You fill the role.
As an offensive lineman / defensive lineman, I look at one thing in footwork, two things: footwork and how your ability to get low off the ball. And this guy's center of gravity, he's a plug. He just goes in there, he gets really low, and when he gets really low and doesn't get beat off the ball, he destroys guys. And that's the thing. I think he'll really progress with our defensive coordinator and our defensive line. I feel like this is a really good pick. Billy, what do you think?
Pop, I think also before we move to Billy, I just wanted to say, Pop, I think you're hyping yourself up a little too much with the defensive line. If you refer back to my MVP football podcast, I never mentioned Antonio Pop as a defensive lineman.
Okay, but I know how to play both sides of the ball, so I know what I'm experienced.
I mean, I know how to play cornerback, but
no, you clearly don't. I caught a touchdown pass over you.
No, you did not.
We're not going to bring that up.
Bull crap.
Billy, what do you think about this?
I mean, I like this pick. I think it's going to be much needed when Nick Williams is a total bust and gets injured here. And, so I think that's a good.
Don't sleep on my boy Nick, man. My boy Nick is going to go bring us. My boy Nick
Trisha actually lets him go one-on-one with an offensive lineman. I mean, you go 3-on-1 on some of these pass rushes.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next defensive tackle we picked up. Johnson Cornell of Ohio State, 6'3", 285. I didn't really like this pick. I thought we should have went for another offensive lineman. I feel like it was just another waste pick. I felt like we have from even free agency, we've gotten enough defensive linemen. I feel like we should have picked up another player. Billy, what do you think?
So, real quick, we didn't need him at defensive tackles. And right now they actually have him slotted as a defensive end. So they're trying to fill that depth a little bit. That's a depth pick. So
yeah,
I don't mind it. I don't hate it. It's kind of what is it? The last round?
I'm right there. We're right there with Billy. Last round. Might play a role. He might not. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So overall, what do you grade the Detroit Lions? Did you
we missed one big guy here.
Who did we miss?
Cephas.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Oh, my bad. We missed wide receiver Quintez Cephas out of Wisconsin. I like this pick, to be honest with you. I felt like we needed a slot receiver, and I feel like because Danny Amendola is getting old, and I feel like in a few years he might retire. So I feel like this is a good pickup for the future. Matt, what do you think?
Pop, we're gonna have a class on how to pronounce people's names
I'm
after
sorry,
this. I
man.
think you have mispronounced every single draft pick's name. Cephas, here's the thing. I don't think Cephas is much of a slot guy. I don't see them using him there too much. I think the thing that's interesting is this the replacement for Marvin Jones? His contract's up, I think, after this year. I mean, he looks a
See,
lot like him on the film. He could fill that. Are they trying to fill him that role? I like Jones a lot. I like Golladay a lot. I want to keep those two guys here, but that might be a safety pick. If he gets injured again, or if he doesn't live up to the hype, they might not pay him what he wants, and then Cephas might be the guy. Those are my thoughts. I think it's an okay pick. I don't think you need to do that now, but I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
Overall, though, looking at the draft, for a normal team, I'd give it like a B, but because it's the Lions, I'd give it a B plus because of how bad our previous drafts have been.
I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Billy, what are your comments
good
about
picks,
it?
some bad picks, decent draft.
I give this a B minus. I do have to say that this is Bob Quinn's best draft that I've seen him put together.
So weird. So weird saying he did something right.
The only thing that's hurting my grade on this is the first round. You guys know how I stand on that pick.
Yeah, 100%.
Okuda's a good player. He's going to make a difference. But at round 3, you're not looking for good. You're looking for great. You're looking for superstar. You're looking for, someone that can act.
Yeah.
You're going to constantly on the field. So
yeah, 100%. Well, this wraps up our draft recap episode. I hope all of you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe and comment. And as always, stay healthy.
Stay classy.
See ya.